What is going on, wrestling fans? It is WWE at Home 219 here with my friend Aaron here to review Monday Night Raw. Raw literally just ended here on July 15, 2013, so let's get right into it. Brad Maddox would come out to a drum roll. I thought it was somebody big, but it's our boy Brad Maddox talking about the Maddox era coming up. He would announce that there'd be a World Heavyweight Championship rematch. I first thought that was going to be for the title, but it wasn't. Still a good match to announced. Cena would interrupt. Maddox would let Cena say he's going to let Cena choose his opponent for SummerSlam. Randy Orton's music would then kick in, then we'd see Fandango come out. Basically, both men want a chance at that title, and then Randy would basically just beat the shit out of Fandango, and that would lead into that matchup. Opening segment, I'll give a C.
Yeah, interesting. Wasn't expecting Brad Maddox, but I like it. I like him as GM. Opening matchup, or opening segment, I guess, to see as well. Just setting the tone.
All right, so then the actual matchup, Mr. Money in the Bank, Randy Orton taking on Fandango. It was an okay start. Fandango took control going into the first commercial break. Crowd was doing the wave. It was pretty crazy there in Brooklyn, New York. Props to that crowd right there. But an RKO would win it for Randy Orton in a pretty average matchup that I will give a C.
Yeah, it's always good when the crowd's into it. I think that plays a huge role in everything. Randy was getting fired up. The crowd was digging him. Not a bad matchup. I think Fandango still got some stuff to learn before I think he gets in matches with the bigger competition and bigger guys like Randy Orton. But not a bad match. I'm also going to give it a C. Like that Randy won made sense.
So we see Mark Henry come out in a suit. I thought he was going to re-announce his retirement.
Yeah.
Basically, he comes out. He asks us he wants to tell Cena that he deserves another match since he went toe-to-toe with him at Money in the Bank at SummerSlam to face. And then Shield's music would kick in. Basically, they'd start beating the shit out of Henry. Henry actually put up a pretty good fight against the Three, but Three's greater than one. A triple power bomb to Mark Henry ended this segment. Maybe they're setting something up for SummerSlam. Maybe Mark Henry's turning face. Who knows? I guess we'll find out in the next 3 weeks of Raw. But I like the idea of the Shield coming out to attack Mark Henry, and I like the idea that Mark Henry is done facing John Cena, because I think once is good enough. It wasn't a terrible match, but it was all right. I'll give this segment a C.
Yeah, when the Shield, I thought Mark Henry might retire. I think maybe we actually get the legit retirement speech, but no. I like that the Shield came out. I think that was awesome. Maybe, and it's just something I just thought of in my head, maybe Big Show and Mark Henry team up to try and take on the Shield. Maybe, I don't know. Just an idea I'm throwing out there. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I like that the Shield triple power bombed him. We give it another C. We've been average throughout, so not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, usually, if you've been with my Raw reviews, I've had a lot of bad graded shows, so pretty much if I'm giving a C, that's a pretty good grade in my eyes. But the next matchup would be your World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio taking on Dolph Ziggler. It was a back and forth matchup. When you have these two in the ring, they're always going to put on a pretty solid matchup. AJ would distract by ringing the bell, and then Del Rio would pick up the pinfall. And then afterwards, Big E would come out and attack Ziggler. That's probably foreshadowing a matchup at SummerSlam between E and Zig. The Del Rio Ziggler matchup was pretty good, though. I'll give it a C+.
Yeah, well, me and Kyle both knew AJ was going to come out. Now that you can see that Big E attacked him, now you're going to see the fact that we're alluding to what's going to happen at SummerSlam, and that's like what's going to happen. You know what? I'm all right with this now. I originally was really pissed when Del Rio won, but I think this gives Ziggler something to sidetrack off of when Del Rio eventually gets cashed in on, then Ziggler can get back into the picture. But the match itself, these two actually are pretty good in the ring. I think they've developed some ring chemistry. Dolph Ziggler's obviously very good. C+ match, not bad at all.
So then we see R-Truth come back out to his "What's Up" gimmick. Yeah, and he'd be pretty much "What's Down" as the Wyatt family would be there. They would beat the shit out of R-Truth. Very awesome. Bray Wyatt on the mic is excellent, and what they're doing is interesting because it really isn't. I mean, it might be setting up something for SummerSlam. Who knows what's going on with the Wyatt family? Hopefully they'll have a match there, but that's pretty cool just to see them attack people still. I'll give it a B.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't expect this at all. When R-Truth came out, I thought it was just going to be some average match against some person, but when Wyatt Family's music kicked in and that awesome entrance kicked in, it was just as good as when it happened before. Love it. Still don't know what the Wyatt family are going to do, and I think it's awesome. They're adding that mystery effect. Maybe the Shield, maybe not, who knows. Bray Wyatt shows great mic skills, showed some good quickness in the ring for a pretty big guy. So I'm going to give it a B+, solid segment.
Then we see the Real Americans, Antonio Cesaro and Jack Swagger face off against the Usos. The Usos coming off a very good matchup on the pre-show against the Shield last night. It was very short. The Usos picked the victory. Not much to say here. I'll give it a D.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I'm not a big Cesaro fan. I can tell you I hate Jack Swagger. Not a big Cesaro fan, but like Kyle said earlier, I think they're kind of wasting his talent a little bit, and I've heard rumors that Vince McMahon does not like Cesaro, so that could be why. But yeah, I think the whole reason they gave the Usos the win was a surprisingly really good performance in the pre-show at Money in the Bank. I mean, the match in general wasn't a fan of it, pretty bad. I'm gonna give it an F. Actually, was not a fan of anything.
All right, so then we would see Damian Sandow take on Christian. And it was a crafty cover maneuver here. Another short matchup as Christian picks up the victory over Sandow. But really the main thing to take from this is Cody Rhodes attacking Damian Sandow after. I think this is totally setting up a matchup at SummerSlam. And it could even be a world title feud once Sandow cashes in the briefcase. I think Cody Rhodes is turning face. I think Mark Henry turned face earlier tonight. Just an interesting segment. Nothing to it. D+.
Yeah, I think the whole point of this segment was to show that Cody Rhodes and Sandow are now officially going to feud. You could tell, and even if Christian was faking it or not, he was pretty still beat up. He's an older guy. That was a very, very brutal match at Money in the Bank. He had a chipped tooth, so I think he was a little beat up. I think the whole point was for Cody Rhodes to come out, and, the match itself, boring. I didn't expect anything from it. I'm going to give it a D-, but the Cody Rhodes thing helps a little bit, so I'm going to give it a flat D. So we'll see. I'm liking the Cody Rhodes Sandow feud, though.
And then we'd see Brie Bella take on Naomi. Not much to say here, even though Naomi put on a really good performance. I think she's the most athletic diva they have at this point in time. That's the only highlight here. Naomi picks up the victory. I'll give it a D.
Yeah, Naomi needs to split up from the Funkadactyls. I think she needs to do her own thing. She's got a lot of potential. D-, nothing special, but she's got potential.
And then arguably one of the best promos I've seen in my history of watching WWE, CM Punk coming out, calls out Heyman and Lesnar, saying he knows they're both here. Heyman would come out, keep bringing up the we factor of how him and CM Punk went on that run together, and then basically just get very personal, bring up family matters. CM Punk would call Paul Heyman a son of a bitch. Just an epic promo. Brock Lesnar would end up coming out, and they would just end up brawling. Brock Lesnar pretty much dominated that brawl, as you would expect, and then F5 on the table would end it. Perfect segment. I'll give an A+.
Yeah, phenomenal. I never thought CM Punk could maybe top that pipe bomb he landed a few years ago, but wow. This was awesome. This has led into one of the most anticipated matchups for me in a long time. I think we said this earlier. I think this is already better than Brock Lesnar and Triple H, bar none. Way past it. Phenomenal segment. Brock coming out. CM Punk getting attacked, getting personal. Paul Heyman, got to give him credit. He's also very, very good on the mic. Both phenomenal. Like Kyle said, flawless segment, A+. Did everything and beyond what it had to do.
So then we'd see two old men go at it. RVD taking on Y2J. Crowd was loud as hell. Back and forth matchup. Plenty of counters, plenty of splashes, all of that. And Rob Van Dam would pick up the victory. Just a flawless matchup here. Once again, two veterans going at it, two future Hall of Famers. Rob Van Dam continues the momentum since returning. I wouldn't call it momentum, but he gets his first win on Monday Night Raw in 6 years. I'll give it a B.
Yeah, not a guy in the WWE locker room I'd want to see. I wanted to see this match from the beginning. Glad I got to see it. Two older guys, but they still got it, and they still both got a lot of talent. So glad I got to see this match. Very good match in my opinion. Giving it a B+. Love Rob Van Dam. Love Chris Jericho. We'll see where they go from here, but hey, way to kick off Rob Van Dam's return on Monday Night Raw with a match against Jericho that I really liked. So good stuff.
So the final segment was John Cena making his choice for an opponent at SummerSlam. It was basically John Cena putting it up to the fans and see the reaction to superstars that he would basically name out. It was actually kind of funny to see John Cena kind of name guys like Heath Slater and Khali and hear the boos and all that. But the man John Cena would really end up taking, the man that I'm pretty sure 85% of people want to see and deserves to be in the title picture, is Daniel Bryan, and that's who he's going to be facing at SummerSlam. Hopefully those two could put on a pretty solid matchup, I would expect so. Very cool ending segment. Just because of the fact that he picked Daniel Bryan, I'll give it a C+. And Raw overall, I will give a C plus. Just a very good show, and it's very good build up so far to SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think this is who we wanted. I know this is what we've been anticipating. We wanted Daniel Bryan. John Cena made the right move. For a second there, I didn't know what he was going to do. I thought something big was coming, but Daniel Bryan's the right decision in my opinion. Should be a great match. Makes sense in my opinion if you add in the fact that Randy has the briefcase with Daniel and Randy feuding. Could Daniel win and get cashed on? Be kind of interesting, kind of ironic that Daniel was picked, but makes most sense to me. Give that segment a C plus. Give Raw B minus, a little slight above crowds, just because I love the RVD and Jericho. Just loved how everything's panning out for SummerSlam. I think this was a great show that kicked off the chaos that we saw at Money in the Bank. So hopefully, and it looks like SummerSlam's anticipating to be one hell of a pay-per-view.
So that's our Raw review from July 15th. Tell us what you thought about Raw down below in the comment section. And like and subscribe to this channel if you've already not subscribed. And follow us on Twitter right underneath us. Take it easy.